Welcome to Fil-Am Showtime, sponsored by New Sagaya Market and New World Travel and Tours. Enjoy the show.
Gentlemen, we have a very special guest, and he's a legendary personality in our community. He has almost 5 decades of filming in the state of Alaska. Videography, still photography, cinematography, name it. Ladies and gentlemen, my special guest tonight is, as I've said, legendary William W. Bacon III. Bill?
Yes.
Welcome to Fil-Am Showtime.
And good to meet you.
Well, thank you. You know, one of the blessed things that have happened to me during Thanksgiving Day is the chance of meeting you on one of the functions of the Mabuhay Lions. And praise the Lord, now I have you in my TV program. And I did mention in our community here that you are legendary, and you are indeed, Bill. I don't know if you realize that, but you started really photography when you were what, 11, 12 to 13 years old? Tell us about that.
Well, the neighbor up the street from me, he was interested in photography, and he started showing me around. And I bought one of these big old Kodak box cameras. I think it took about 120 or something size film. And then I'd shoot some stuff, and then I'd go up to his place and we'd process it.
Yeah. Now this all started. What state was that?
Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania. Was that where you were born?
I was born in Germantown. Well, I was born in Bryn Mawr, Pennsylvania, and then I grew up in Germantown, and it was a lot of fun, you know, in that area, and my neighbor he really started me on it. And then he says, you know, they have this camera now, and what they're doing is they're taking a lot of the films that they shoot in Hollywood, and then there's they don't finish a whole roll, so they have this unexposed 35 millimeter. So you can buy those and take still pictures, and they have this camera. I said, wow. So I could get a bunch of this stuff and roll it up and take pictures, and then instead of only having 12 on a roll, I could have 36. I said, wow, this is so that started.
Right, that's Kodak camera you were using then. Okay, all right.
And then a little later on, it's quite a lot later, I started fiddling around with a little 8 millimeter movie camera, and then, oh boy, that was something else. And so I fiddled around with a little bit of that.
Bill, but during all those times when you were doing this picture taking, did you already have an idea what lens opening, shutter speed,
yes,
and all those things already at that young age?
Yeah. See, with my first camera, you had nothing. You just point and shoot.
Right.
And then with the 35 came out, it had f-stops and speed and stuff like that. And I said, oh boy. And then I had to get a light meter.
Yes.
And then I had this old, it was an old one then. Well, it was, in those days, it was.
Because that was the trick, right? The trick of a good picture then is to have a good lens opening. You got to know you got to know the f, and you got to know the shutter speed.
Shutter speed. Yeah. Oh yeah. And I had to learn all of that, and then I that started me, and then when I started in with a movie camera, then that kind of went along with it, and then I had the idea of composition and stuff from my stills that I started in with my movie camera.
All right, okay.
Yeah.
Well, when you were doing your movie camera, are you in high school already?
Oh, yeah, I was.
All right, now tell about that. You started in Pennsylvania, but you didn't stay there for long. You moved around, right?
Yeah, I ended up by my aunt really started to take care of me, and so she got me into school up in Deerfield, Massachusetts, and I didn't get into any of the camera then at all.
Ladies and gentlemen, my very special guest tonight is no other else than William W. Bacon III, who is, I mentioned, a legendary filmmaker and a still photographer, and name it. So, Bill, right after the World War II, okay?
Yeah.
Then you got back to your favorite thing or what you were doing.
Yeah.
What happened then?
I got out of the Navy, and a buddy of mine said, let's go to Alaska. And I always had dreams about Alaska. When I was a kid, my aunt used to read me stories about Alaska and the last frontier and the gold rush and all of that stuff. And so we decided we'd come up and look around. So we went to Fairbanks. In those days, Fairbanks was bigger and more going on up there then. Mm-hmm. And so went up there, and one of the jobs I got was with the Fairbanks Daily News Miner.
Yes.
I got a job as a still photographer. So that worked out pretty good. And then they had KFAR TV, and that was the local station up there. And then I started to do some filming on that.
Okay.
And they had this fellow, he was a top man up there. His name was Don McCune. And he and I became very close friends, very close. And I was filming him and his programs up there.
Now, Don McCune already have a TV program in Seattle when you met him?
No.
Not yet.
He was just started up, and he was just in Fairbanks. And then I did a promo for him, and I helped bring the riverboat Nenana up from Nenana up to Fairbanks. It was a big riverboat.
You got this all documented with your
Yeah,
video?
I did
Okay.
the documentary
Okay.
on this thing. So I had Don McCune on the riverboat when it was in Fairbanks. I had him up there like he was a skipper and stuff like that.
Alright.
And I did a promo for him, and they interested in it in KOMO TV in Seattle.
Wow.
And he became Captain Puget.
All right.
And so he did all the stories around Seattle, and he was had a pipe, and he was Captain Puget.
So what's the name of his program? Is it Captain Puget?
Yeah,
that's the
it
name?
was at first.
Yeah.
And then about that time, I got a job. I did a film for this guy, and it was about a pigeon that worked a miracle, and I didn't know anything about it, and so I got to be cameraman on it along with this guy. And so when that was in Santa Barbara, California. It was out of there, and so I went down. I met him down there, and I had my dog Smokey with me, and I had a pet wolf, and so I went down there.
You took your two pets with you to
yeah,
Santa
I drove
Barbara
down.
from Alaska. Oh, you drove.
I
You
drove from
okay.
Alaska
Yeah,
down
yeah.
there,
All right.
and so I worked on this, a pigeon that worked a miracle. And so then he says, I want you to meet my boss. And I said, okay. And in those days, Disney would have programs done, contracted out, and by individuals. So this guy, Walter Perkins, had a contract with Disney's. And so if anything went wrong, they couldn't sue Disney. They could just sue Walter Perkins,
Yes.
see? And so Walter says, hey, my boss wants to meet you and your dog. I said, oh, really? And so I didn't know who his boss was, you know. So he said, we got to go down to Burbank and meet him. So I went down there and had my dog, and it was in the morning, pretty, you know, people were just coming to work, and we were in the parking lot and had my dog there, and about 4 people started walking up, and then Walter says, this is my friend Bill Bacon, and I shook his hand. This is Bill Bacon. I shook 4 guys' hands.
Okay.
And then I said to Walter, I said, hey, you just told me, you just said this is Bill Bacon, but you didn't tell me who they were. And he looked at me and says, don't you know who he was? I said, no, I don't know who he was. Don't you look at television? I said, we don't have television in Alaska. Well, you just met Walt Disney. I said, what? And so I went back, and my dog, in the meantime, went right up to Walt. He's prancing around, and Walt said, that's the dog I want in my next film. So after we finished The Pigeon That Worked a Miracle.
No, wait a minute. Now, Walt Disney picked your dog to be one of his films?
Yeah, he wanted him to be the star in his film.
Is it what?
And the name of the film was Nicky, Wild Dog of the North.
All right, and that belongs to William Bacon the third.
Yeah,
that was your
that
dog.
was my dog, Smokey.
Oh my gosh, how much he paid you for that? He got to pay you big bucks for that.
No,
Not
he didn't pay me anything for Smokey. What I did though, I got paid for working for him,
Oh, okay.
but not my dog. and then I had my pet wolf, and they said, "Geez, that's a beautiful animal." And so we used that in the film. But he was so pretty. My wolf was so beautiful that we had to spray paint it black. And I put my finger over the eye and spray paint, and it made it look mean, you know. So we used that in the film too.
all right. My special guest, ladies and gentlemen, is Mr. William Bacon III, and again, we are very honored to have him here. Now, let's go back to Walt Disney. Do you have any program maybe we can show?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
why don't we pause right now and show that?
Okay.
Okay, let's pause. Let's watch.
Un Canadien errant, banni de ses foyers, des pays étrangers, nommé en expirant, oh mon cher Canada, mon regard languissant vers toi se portera.
His name was Nicky, and he was a Malamute. 1/8 wolf, the rest Mackenzie husky. He was 3 months old. The man was a fur trader, Andre Dupas, a kind man and a good master. And for his friendship, Nicky returned a steadfast devotion.
That was a beautiful program you have there, Nicky, Wild Dog of the North. Was that your first Disney shot?
Yes,
That was the first one?
Yeah.
Okay. No.
Well, actually, the pigeon that worked a miracle was the first
Okay,
one.
okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, all right.
and then I started to work for the studio.
Oh, okay.
And no more contract people. I worked directly with Walt.
So you're under his payroll.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what had happened to Mr. Disney after that? You've been working with him for
Yeah,
quite a while.
20 years I worked with Walt, and we did many different films like Nicky, and then Wob, King of the Grizzlies, Charlie the Lonesome Cougar, The Incredible Journey, the Monado. That was about a Wolverine and a mean trapper, and I had to play the part of the mean trapper.
The mean trapper.
Yeah, and in Charlie the Lonesome Cougar, I had to play the drive cook on that. And anytime anybody had to fall in the river or do something, that was my job. And so, but anyhow, it was really interesting. And then when Alaska became a state, I told you that Walt wanted to do a story of Alaska, a salute to Alaska.
All right.
And so that was interesting.
This is in '59.
Yeah, when it became
Yeah.
state.
Yes.
And then Walt sent me all over Alaska. I did in Fairbanks. They would play. They would have a softball game in the wintertime on snowshoes. And then I covered that, and then we did fishing all over Alaska and different places, and it's quite an interesting
All right,
story.
yeah. So you were actually the official videographer of Mr. Disney when Alaska became a state, right? You're doing all the video
but I was doing the filming on that.
on that one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have any of that we can show?
Well, I can show you a salute to Alaska.
All right. Okay. And again, ladies and gentlemen, we are very fortunate. Pretty soon it's going to be the 50th anniversary of Alaska, and the first time it became a state. We are going to give you a treat tonight. No other else than from Mr. William Bacon III himself. Let's watch.
cents an acre. That's exactly $7,200,000. What?
When Congress heard that Seward had agreed to buy Alaska, it blew its top. They called it Seward's Folly, Seward's Icebox, Seward's Frozen Asset. In spite of congressional hostility, the Alaskan purchase was finally approved by a margin of 1 vote. On October 18th, 1867, the Stars and Stripes were raised over the territory of Alaska for the first time. Then, for 30 years, Alaska lay neglected and forgotten under the Northern Lights.
The Alaskan Gold Rush? Yes, sir. I remember it just like it was yesterday. That's me there. I was just 18, still wet behind the ears. These here newspaper headlines started the whole thing way back in 1897. Some reporter said a whole ton of gold had just arrived from the Klondike, and the panic was on. This was the beginning of 6 crazy years of gold fever that took us greenhorn sourdoughs to such faraway places as Dawson City in Canada and Skagway, Nome, and Fairbanks in Alaska. When we arrived in Alaska, they piled us on barges, and we floated in with the tide. Our supplies was dumped for miles along the Alaskan beaches and tide flats. Some of the more patient stampeders took the long way around, by riverboat up the Yukon. But most of us was too much in a hurry. We had our order it was safe enough to bring your dust to the assay bank and have it melted into gold bricks. Of course, we stampeders didn't all end up being millionaires, but we sure helped prove that Mr. Seward's Folly was a jackpot after all. Yep, we unlocked the door to our last frontier. We put Alaska on the map.
This historical day of January 3rd, 1959, President Dwight D. Eisenhower makes it official. A new state is born. A new star is added to our flag. This called for a real celebration. And the people of Alaska had been waiting a long time to let us hear about it. The old-time prospectors came to Alaska for gold. Today's adventurer follows the same inland waterways on the modern auto ferry system. He looks for a different kind of gold, boundless natural resources, and breathtaking scenic beauty.
Then after Walt died, my friend, in the meantime, Don McCune, who was had this program called Exploration Northwest, he says, "Bill, you got to go and work for me." I said, "Okay."
Oh, this is after Mr. Disney died, then you work with McCune?
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
McCune heard that Disney died, and so he said, "Hey, will you work for me?" Mm-hmm. And I said, "Okay." And so Don McCune started doing films all over Alaska, all over Washington, Oregon, California. We just went all over doing films.
Documented. What kind of a camera did you have then?
Well, I was using an Aeroflex 16 millimeter.
Okay. Did at any one time when you were filming that something happened to you that you got really frustrated and you know, I mean, I'm sure that not all your picture taking came out well. I'm sure there are some frustration there. Could you give me an instance of those times?
Well, I tell you, one of the things we always had problems in the wintertime, we had to have heater barneys. Had a big cover over the barneys. Always had to worry about that. And then the batteries had to have extra heavy batteries.
You carry you must be carrying lots of batteries with you.
Oh yeah,
loads and loads of.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because there's no way you can get electricity.
That's right. Oh yeah. Now it's always a job, and a lot of times I made a vest and had a lot of batteries all in my vest, and I had to put that in. Had the cord sticking out of from my sleeve of my parka,
right.
and I had that. And then sometimes, I'll never forget, one time I was doing some filming of One Man's Wilderness on Lake Clark, and it just started to rain, and I had my little bag with me, and I had an umbrella and a little latch that fits onto my camera, my tripod handle, and then the umbrella fits right on that, so I kept right on filming in the rain.
Right, yeah, talking about that, you were invited by UAA to talk, to give them tips about videography.
Yeah.
And I think, I don't think they don't mind because it's on YouTube. We're going to show that to our audience right now when you gave them 10 tips. And I want them to make particular attention to the beanbags.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, here's
Yeah.
Mr. William Bacon giving 10 tips on videography when he was at UAA. Let's watch the YouTube now. Let's watch.
The important thing is to have a good, steady camera. And the only way you can do that is with a tripod. Or, I've used this a lot of times. It's a bean bag. And you're running along in a place and you got to get a camera set up. You can just sit it right on there and it's rock steady. If you're doing any filming in Alaska, in the Arctic, you want one of these. It's a heater barney. Here's another little invention. I've done a lot of filming in the snow and conditions like that, and you always carry 3 rubber bands. I carry 4 because one always breaks. Here it is. It's a spreader, and on snow conditions, it's fantastic. When I'm on a shoot, if it's pretty important, I always carry 2 cameras. Here is an umbrella, and you can use any umbrella and just saw the end off. Fits right in here. You want to use the best premium tape you can get, but don't switch brands. I was gone for a long time, and the regular batteries, these are the batteries I use. Probably for that camera there, they'll use them and stuff like that. These finally go out. I have this one. It's called an Expedition battery, and they have saved me many, many times. I have a little tiny light, and it's a 12 volt. I have a little tiny 12 volt battery, and I can put that in my pocket, run that cable, and clamp it onto the top of my camera, so I can get along in just enough light to fill in. And then it's very important, take a Polaroid or a digital still picture of it, because if you have to do some pickup shots, and you've got to have that thing just the same way or it won't match. When it comes to editing, There's where you learn your mistakes. We ran out of food, so we ate our bean bag. There's actually beans in there. You learn all these little things through experience. You always wish the hell you had them.
All the things that really probably got you emotional, because this has something to do with the environment, was the spill oil at Valdez. Tell us about that.
Oh, well, okay. About that oil, first I got to go back just a little bit. Before they even started the oil pipeline, they had to get permission from the natives that lived along where the pipeline was supposed to go. And so they had this woman come up. She was started to work for this film outfit back east, and her name was Paula Apsel. And so she came up, and I worked with her on this program about getting the natives to release their property so they could build a pipeline. And so we went all over Alaska together, and I got to know her really well. And then she started doing more and more programs, and so it was WGBH out of Boston. And so Paula every once in a while would call me and say, "Hey, can you do this or can you do that?" So I would do that. And
Paula Abzul.
Yeah,
that's the name. Okay.
Yeah, and so I did one on the herring fisheries for her, and I did a couple others. And then when the Exxon Valdez oil spill came, she says, "I want you on there right now." So I went right over there, and I got a helicopter, and I was filming all around. Started to film the oil spill of all the dead animals.
Mr. Bacon picture says 1,000 words, and I thought there was when I saw that picture, I felt so bad about the environment. Why don't we show to our community the one that Mr. William Bacon took during the Exxon Valdez oil spill?
And it's interesting because right now, after all these years, they're finally paying off some of the damages done to the people that had ruined their lives.
Interesting. So why don't we show that part of program right now? Let's watch right now. Are you now retired, or are you still in the business?
Oh yeah, I'm still I don't think I'll probably die with a camera in my hand.
That's right. You went to Tibet and China, right?
Yes.
Tell us about that.
Well, I was asked by the Ministry of Tourism of China to do a film on China, and this was very interesting because they want, at that time, this is a few years ago, they wanted to get American tours to come to China. So what an opportunity.
Wow,
they
yes.
treated me like a king.
Yeah, Mr. Bacon, it's been an honor for Fil-Am Showtime to have you come here and share everything about William M. Bacon III from the beginning until now. So you are a bona fide Alaskan resident, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I came up here in 1946 to look around, and I've been looking around ever since.
Yes. All right. And there are people watching that's also interested in videography and the things that you do. Do you have any short advice to these people that's in the same kind of profession and or wanted the same profession? Do you have any a short advice of how they can be successful like you?
Oh, I don't know. Just never give up.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. And again, there you are, ladies and gentlemen. His advice, never give up. My special guest, I hope you guys all enjoyed. We did here at the studio, Mr. William M. Bacon III. Thank you, Bill. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
You are very welcome, sir.
It's an honor to be on your program,
thank you. It's an honor to have you here at Fil-Am Showtime.
Okay.
All right, let's go to the next segment of our program, Amnes Dangilan. Well, I hope that you enjoyed that interview, and for lots of the things that's happening in our community, we are able to capture the Thanksgiving activity that's being sponsored by the local Salvation Army, and it was very exciting. We have the Filipino Bible Church members, some of the members blessed their heart to come and volunteer and help in the distribution of the food and prepare in the kitchen. So without further ado, let's watch other things that we'd like to show tonight. Not too long ago, Fil-Am Showtime featured a young man. He's a Filipino-American. He graduated from East High School. He was one of the track field athletes. He garnered many awards. And also, he went to UAA and had a degree there. But he followed up one of his passion, and that's being one of the ultimate fighter or boxer. I really don't know what they call him, but Michael Madrid was featured here with regards to that, and we are going to show to you a clipping of Michael Madrid preparing, believe it or not, preparing for his welterweight championship fight this coming at the Sullivan Arena, and it's going to be on December 10. And at 7 p.m. again at Sullivan Arena. So I will show you now a clipping of Mr. Michael Madrid preparing for this big fight of his life. Let's watch. Now, with regards to the sports activity in our community, the United Filipino Athletic Association, or UFAA as we call them, is having their basketball tournament, and it's been going on and going strong, and it's happening always at the Esplanade Recreation Center. Kaya kayong mga nanonood, for those of you watching and really like to watch sports, every weekend, starting Friday and then end up in Saturday, the Filipino basketball tournament is being held again at the Esplanade Recreation Center. It starts at 4:30 p.m. So we are going to show to you some of the previous games that the Filipino Athletic or UFA has been doing in the last few weeks or last year. So let's watch this program right now.
Oh, okay.
you enjoyed that clipping. I just want to remind our viewing audience here that the next game is scheduled this coming December 9. And that's Friday. That's going to be at 4:30 at Spinad Recreation Center, December 9. Now, there is no game scheduled for December 5 because that is a special day for Filipino Americans. There will be a program, a special program featuring Manny Pacquiao fighting against Mr. De La Hoya. And again, there's no game this coming December 5, but it will the tournament, the UFA basketball, will continue on December 9. All right. So I hope you guys had a good time. 1 hour went so quick. And please take good care. Gaya ng sabi ko, please magmahalan tayo sa tweet.